Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaRakakadash, the monarchs, the apostles, and elders of great most on the rule wall. Shalom to the brothers doing the way to Syrian truth. Um, yeah, it's kind of looking at this situation where, the most recent in multiple school shootings, well, the most recent one to kind of be in the news, and tug on everyone's heartstrings. And it's just like it's funny because with these these Americans, like them separating them guys from from their guns, that shit is gonna be an impossible task. Which is it's funny. Well, it's in their spirit, man. It's in their spirit because as far as with what's it called? As far as separating them from their guns. Because as far as anyway, it's that's Esau's spirit. That's the spirit that's been given onto them, man. They got blessed with what? With the sword. And by that sword, that's how they're gonna attain. That's how they got their kingdom. That's how they maintain their rule. That's how they got, the fatness of the earth. But it's funny because now you have the modern types that are basically, railing against that. It's like they're disconnected from their identity. And you can have those aren't Edomites among them, but it's like primarily saying like, oh, why are our kids getting shot? But it's it's because the spirit of judgment's out. But what it's with, as far as with that sword, that's that sword is still what you call it? That's intricately linked with who Esau is, man. Let me read a bit of this. It said school shooting strengthens case with guns. Donald Trump tells NRA. Yeah, because people are out protesting the NRA. Said, oh, guns being legal is the problem. And the real issue is the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is essentially coming against your spot, man. Coming against your place, coming against America. Because as far as it's like, even with the whole school shooting thing, that shit is some American shit. Some American, shit. It's like Jake be in the hood, just laying each other over women and over over drugs, over money, over being a degenerate. But as far as for what do you call it, the as far as with this whole situation, it's a curse on Esau. Says is what Donald Trump has said: the recent U.S. school shooting is a reason to arm law-abiding citizens, not disarm them. And it's funny because anyway, with with the the peoples, these elites are essentially trying to have their plans progress and develop and cement as smoothly as possible, which involves what stripping these man them of of what they got, all these guns to some extent, or limiting it to where it can make it easier. But these men, which that's what they want. But it's like them Americans. It's it's in the scriptures, in Esau's spirit. But then especially like America is the old Wild West spirit. The gunslinger running around, blinging man with the revolvers in his head. So it says the former U.S. president was a guest speaker at the NRA, which held its annual convention in Houston on Friday. The event was held 3 days after 19 children and 2 adults were shot dead at a school in Uvalde, and put in stark relief America's deep divisions on gun control. As demonstrations swelled in Houston, attenders inside the convention, including Trump, continued to deny that guns were the problem and put emphasis on school safety and mental health. He told the conference, the existence of evil in our world is not a reason to disarm law-abiding citizens. The existence of evil is one of the best reasons to arm law-abiding citizens. So yeah, these men are contending over these things, but it's down to the spirit. Because as far as it's like these elites, a lot of these guys that you have that are the gun owners, they're down in the Bible Belt. These are the guys that are, they're tuned into what the elites are up to. So any kind of whiff of the of like them being stripped of certain rights, certain freedoms, they'll generally get in an uproar about it. Yeah, they'll just get in an uproar about it. It's kind of funny still, because it's really just Esau. Let me read it. Genesis 27 and something 38, it says, And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Yeah. So he was bound by the first prophecy in Genesis 25, where it was the older will serve the younger. But for him to break that yoke of servitude off, it was by the sword. By the sword he'll live. So that's why you have these Edomites. These guys are bonded to them guns on a spiritual level. So yeah, it's like no matter what happens, it's gonna be it's gonna be an uphill battle for any of that shit to go down. But then it's as well for the elites. They want it similar to like how it is in the UK, how it is in like Australia, where they just got it done outright. But because of how guns have been propagated, and because how the country is set up as well, just hella men out here with guns and buying more guns. Sad speak. Says what? He said, every time a disturbed or demented person commits a hideous crime, there's always a grotesque effort by some in our society to advance their own extreme political agenda. Trump called for an overhauling of school security and the nation's approach to mental health, telling the group every school building should have a single point of entry, strong exterior fencing, metal detectors, and hardened classroom doors, and every school should have a police officer or armed guard on duty at all times. It's funny as hell, because it really just shows like, hey, it's the spirit of judgment, man. Because America, it's the amount that's happening in America is legendary, and has been for the longest. Like, what's that other thing I was gonna get? Oh, well, yeah, I was actually gonna get what was it? Yeah, 2nd Ezra 15 and 15 says, For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, the modern day sword, the gun. These guys are going to be armed. And it says what? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Yeah. So as far as for what, well, why, what they're trying to restrict these guns, as far as from the top down, from the elites, is because why they know there's going to be contention, there's going to be people in conflict, and what they want to smooth as a ride as possible. What they're looking to set up is one of those dystopian futures, the Handmaid's Tale. What the hell is the other one called? The pre-crime one. What the hell is his name? Tom Cruise, man. The Minority Report. Um, the cyberpunk one as well. What was I thinking of? Altered Carbon. These kinds of things where the people have been, tagged, with the Kuragma, where they've basically been put in a state where any form of rebellion is not capable. They're essentially able to have their enterprise set up, and there's going to be no contention. There's no one that's able to come against them. They want to have everyone chipped, everyone in order. They have total control, over who can just go and blow someone's head off. It's what? Because they know it's in the scriptures prophesied. You're gonna have people coming against their leaders. You got it happening on a lower level with Bojo and whatnot now, where everyone's trying to kick up a fuss. Same thing happened with Trump, but it's gonna be on a scale where it's obviously gonna be violent, as I said. They're gonna have swords in their hands. But hey, prophecy is prophecy. It's gonna go down how it's been set. But yeah, I'll leave there. Shalom. Shalom.